Hello, team. Running a little bit late. Not too bad, but a little bit late. Better get my URL and copy it everywhere. As usual, if you're tuning in later when this is no longer a live video, look at the description. There'll be a timestamp to where the questions begin. We'll start in about 7 minutes from now. Create a post. Oh God, Facebook's all changed. Cool. All right, I posted it on the page. Running a little bit late today, and I didn't make an event this week because life. But anyway, here we are. I don't think I made an event. No, I didn't. Hello, 4 people who've tuned in. We'll be starting at about 35 minutes past 7 as usual, which is about 6 minutes from now. So feel free to go and get a drink or whatever in the meantime. Hello, Andrew. Hello, Pierrot. I'm assuming you can hear me okay. I'm just spamming the link around to the usual places. And we'll be starting in a few minutes. Be interesting to see how many people turn up today because I haven't made an event or paid any Facebook money to promote the event or anything. So we're probably just going to get regulars this week, but that's cool. Some new regulars from the last couple of busy weeks. Okay, that's done. That's done. What else we got? Hello, Carmen and John, Andrew, Sharon, and Leslie. That's what I like to see. You're playing against each other, or are you combining forces? Right, that's done. That's done. I know what I need to do. Hello, Caroline. I need to open combining forces. Okay, that's cool. What I need to do is open up my document, which has all the questions in it, which is here. Okay, cool. Done. That makes that easy. Make that bigger. Make Facebook go over there. Cool. Done. I think one more thing I have to do. Yes, we'll be starting in about 4 minutes. So stop touching your face. In a couple of minutes, I'll give you the rundown in case you don't know how this works. But it's pretty simple stuff, really. So my Facebook has the new interface, which I didn't like at first, but yeah, whatever. I guess it's all right. It's all sort of soft-edged and round-cornered and doesn't look very good on a very widescreen monitor, but whatever. There are bigger things I could be concerned about. Okay. That's posted. Hey, Narelle. Hello, Lilia. I've got some music questions tonight. I don't know if I do have. I don't know if I have any music questions tonight, actually. That depends what you mean by music. If you mean by music theory, then I don't think I have any. But if you just mean like songs and stuff, then I probably do. I usually do. One or two song questions, music questions. Right. Okay, we'll be starting in a couple of minutes or so. Give everybody a chance to tune in. Hello, Daff. Video game questions, multiple choice, and literature and movies, and of course geography for Stephen. It's not going to be any room for any other questions. As usual, I'm wondering if tonight is quite difficult. Hard to tell. I guess we'll find out. No periodic table. Come on, there's always a mandatory chemistry question, usually. You got me second guessing all my questions now. Anyway, I'm sure we'll be fine. To be honest, it's sometimes a surprise to me what questions are in the list because, hello, Lauren, because one of the things about this particular trivia is I'm reusing questions that I've been using in other venues. I'm not, excuse me, taking my shoes off. I'm not generally writing too many new questions each week. There's a few, but often I'm reusing sort of rounds that I've used before. And in those instances, sometimes I'm as surprised as you as what questions are in there. Pierrot says, just 20 questions on Final Fantasy, please. I don't know how I go with those. Okay. Hey, Pierre. What beer am I drinking tonight? That's the all-important question, isn't it? I'm drinking Mountain Goat Summer Ale, which is actually at room temperature, which I don't mind, but it probably would be nice if it was a bit colder. And tonight for dinner, I had chicken laksa. I've had half of it. I'm going to have the other half when I finish doing trivia. And it was pretty good. Got it from a different place. And it's a proper laksa with all bits you add in together and all yummy bits of tofu and all kinds of stuff in it. Unlike the one I had a couple of weeks ago, which was really terrible. Right. It is 7:35, which means we need to start pretty soon. Old school listeners will recognize the cat in the background that I wore for the first episode. And it impacts my drinking ability, so I don't wear it anymore. Plus, I'm not as shy as I used to be. All right, so quick rundown on how this works. It's standard pub trivia, except we can't go to the pub because of COVID. Yes, it is a nice crisp beer, Daff. So we're just going to have 3 rounds. The first round is 20 questions, which are relatively easy questions. I don't do super easy trivia, but they're relatively easy. And then I'll give you the answers. Round 2 is another 20 questions of less easy questions, and then I give you the answers. And then we have round 3, which is 10 questions, and that's where our very difficult /trick/silly questions go. So if you manage to get 1 point in the third round, you're doing pretty well. Although lately people have been getting 3 or 4 points, so maybe I need to make them more difficult. And then at the end, we'll have a who am I type thing that you can use as a tiebreaker or just have a crack at for a laugh. Okay, and just to clarify, it's not the type of trivia where you have to type the answers very quickly into the comments or anything like that. You're basically just playing against yourself, or against the quiz, or against your friends if you organize it in advance. So yeah, just take notes yourself on pen and paper or in your mind, or Google the answers as we go along. That's also fine. And if you want to join in the fun, you can let me know what score you get in the comments on the YouTube channel. And if you want to be informed of future events, go to the Facebook page, Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz. Okay, done. That's all the housekeeping out of the way. 7:36 p.m. Let's get started with round 1. Question 1. So question 1, Novak Djokovic has been disqualified from this year's tennis US Open after what incident? So you can just describe more or less what happened. Question number 1, Novak Djokovic has been disqualified from this year's tennis US Open after what incident? So there's me saying I don't write many new questions. Obviously, that's a new question for this week. Question 2. Classic trivia question. What is the green pigment in plants called? Or what is the name of the green pigment in plants? And it's the chemical that they use to, as far as I'm aware, turn sunlight into energy. So question 1 was Novak Djokovic has been disqualified. Why? And question 2 is what is the green pigment in plants called? Question 3, Copenhagen is the capital of which European country? Copenhagen or Copenhagen is the capital of which European country? Question 4, who had the catchphrase Thuffrin Thuckatash? You have to say it with a slight speech impediment. Question 4, who had the catchphrase Sufferin' Succotash, but said as Thuffrin Thuckatash? Question 5, hemophobia is an extreme and irrational fear of what? Hemophobia, Haemophobia. Hemophobia is an extreme and irrational fear of what? Because all phobias are extreme and irrational fears by definition. Question 6. Which TV series was set on Wisteria Lane? Wisteria, Wisteria Lane. I think wisteria, isn't that plant that grows up the sides of old houses? Anyway, question 6. Which TV series was set on Wisteria Lane? What's happening on this page? Not much. Question 7. Allergic rhinitis is more commonly known as what? Question 7. Allergic rhinitis, rhinitis, rhinitis. Allergic rhinitis is more commonly known as what? I think round 1's not too difficult so far, but we'll see. Question 8. Chanterelles, that's Chanterelles, chanterelles or chanterelles, are a common variety of what? Question 8. Chanterelles or chanterelles are a common variety of what? Question 9. In the beer industry, what does CUB stand for? That would be Charlie Unicorn, Charlie Uniform Bravo, if I'm once again remembering my NATO phonetic alphabet. Charlie Uniform Bravo. What does CUB stand for in the beer industry? Question 10. Unicorn is even better. Yeah, I don't know why they don't use unicorn. Sounds about the same. Question 10. In Norse mythology, what name is given to the great hall where heroes feast after they have died in combat? Good evening, ads. You're only 10 questions late. Question 10. In Norse mythology, what name is given to the great hall where heroes feast after they have died in combat? Stop touching your face. COVID. Hey, I had a COVID test on Friday. That's my exciting news. I don't have COVID. But I did have a headache that lasted a couple of days, and I was very lethargic. And I had a faint tickle in the back of my throat that I wasn't 100% sure about, but I was going down to see my parents on the weekend, and they're both in their 70s and have been doing a pretty good job of avoiding society and not catching COVID. And I didn't really like the idea of driving down there with a faint, possibly flu symptoms. Didn't seem like a good idea. But it's their 50th wedding anniversary, so I couldn't just skip the weekend. So I went to my local place and had the test done at 4:30 p.m. on a Friday afternoon, and just before 8 a.m. the next day, I got a text saying test result negative. So pretty good turnaround. And it wasn't too bad. I mean, it's not super pleasant, I will say. It's not the most fun I've had, but they wipe a scratchy thing around the back of your throat, and then they stick it up your nose, and you have a bit of a scratch. But it's only literally like a second or two. It's not like I say, it's not super pleasant, but it's not horrible. It's no worse than getting a tetanus shot or anything like that. And in fact, I don't think it's even as bad as that. So if you're worried about getting a test and you think you should get a test, but you're worried about the test itself, don't worry about it. It'll be over before you know it. So you should definitely go and have a test, because then, like me, I was very content to drive down to my parents' place and see them and celebrate their 50 years of happy marriage without having a nagging feeling in the back of my mind that I might be giving them a horrible disease. Anyway, question 11. Why shouldn't you make Dr. Bruce Banner angry? Question 11. Why shouldn't you make Dr. Bruce Banner, Banner, Dr. Bruce Banner, why shouldn't you make him angry? Elected Matt says, I've had 2 tests. The kids have had 6. Caroline's had 1. Eds has had 3. I wasn't expecting that we would have a score, a running score announcement of COVID tests in the comments, but that's cool. It's good to show I'm in good company. There's a strange echo in the comments. All right, what are we up to now? Question 12. What was the unusual technique of runner Zola Budd? ZOLA space BUDD. Question 12. What was the unusual technique of runner Zola Budd? Is it a technique? It's kind of a technique. It's something unusual about the way that person ran. Andrew says, none for us 3, and we're in Melbourne. Well, that's probably good. It means you're managing to not expose yourself to potential hazards. Unfortunately, I am considered essential/disposable, so I have to keep going to work. But that's all right. I'm not in any way grumpy about that, because I'm actually pretty darn fortunate that I still have work. Lots of people don't. Right, question, what are we up to? Question 13. Which living species of bird has the widest wingspan? Which living species of bird has the widest wingspan? So you can have a sort of general answer, but if you manage to give the exact specific answer, then you will get, I think I'll give half a point for the generally correct answer. And if you are specific and correct, then you can have the full point. If that makes sense. And I just mean living species as in a current species, not some ancient dinosaur thing that was 12-meter wingspan or anything crazy. Question 14. Which toy craze of 2017 was claimed to have arisen from a therapeutic tool for people with ADHD, autism, or anxiety? Question 14. Which toy craze of 2017 was claimed to have arisen or been derived from a therapeutic tool for people with ADHD, autism, or anxiety? Quetzalcoatlus. That is one of those ancient, enormous birds, isn't it? Rings a bell. Close square bracket. Okay. Random punctuation. Question 15. What is the name of the sequel to the film Ace Ventura: Pet Detective? Question 15. What is the name of the sequel to the film Ace Ventura: Pet Detective? What's happening on the Facebook page? Hello, Adam, Pierre, and Lilia. I think I've said hello to you all already. Hello, Kat. Long time no Triv, I think, or at least you've been quiet in the comments. Question 16. Which element, oh, there you go, there is a mandatory periodic table question. Question 16. Which element with atomic number 12 burns with an intense white flame? Question 16. Which element with atomic number 12 burns with an intense white flame? Right. Question 17. Which food item takes its name from the French for twice cooked? Question 17. Which food item takes its name from the French for twice cooked? I'm thinking this is not too difficult around one so far. That's what it seems like to me. Question 18. In which year did Malcolm Turnbull become Prime Minister of Australia? Where's my phone making annoying noises? Question 18. In which year did Malcolm Turnbull become Prime Minister of Australia? That was a work-related message. Somebody being happy that we did some work very quickly for them. Hooray! Okay, question 19. In the world of theatre, what do the letters RADA stand for? Often pronounced RADA. So question 19. In the world of theatre, what do the letters RADA, R-A-D-A, stand for? And question 20. Well, I'll do it as a multiple choice. What the heck? Question 20. Which wine bottle size is equivalent to 4 standard bottles? Is it A, a Magnum, B, a Methuselah, or C, a Jeroboam? So question 20, multiple choice. Which wine bottle size is equivalent to 4 standard bottles? Is it A, Magnum, B, Methuselah, or C, Jeroboam? And that brings us to the end of round 1. I'll give you 30 seconds or so to think about that. If you need any repeated, let me know. Who was it who came in late? I could very quickly run through the first 10, I think, or the first 9. Related Matt says, what was question 1? Question 1 was, Novak Djokovic has been disqualified from this year's tennis US Open after what incident? All right, Andrew wants question 7. Maybe I'll just do the first 9 quickly again, because we had a few people turn up late. So question 1 is, Novak Djokovic has been disqualified from the US Open after what incident? Question 2 was, what is the green pigment in plants called? Question 3, Copenhagen is the capital of which European country? Question 4, who had the catchphrase Sufferin' Succotash or Thufferin' Thuckatash? Question 5, hemophobia is an extreme and irrational fear of what? Question 6, which TV series was set on Wisteria Lane? Question 7, allergic rhinitis is more commonly known as what? Question 8, chanterelles or chanterelles are a common variety of what? And question 9, in the beer industry, what does CUB, Charlie Uniform Bravo, stand for in the beer industry? All righty, that should get you up to speed. Anyone else hearing a whining sound? How dare you? Could be the laptop in my the fan in my laptop, I should say. Could be your children. That's true. Could be weird feedback coming from my USB microphone. Does it come and go, or is it... Pierre, I haven't done the answers yet. It's all right. Relax. I was just running through the questions. Occasional whining noise. Yeah, could be the fan. Comes and goes. I'll point the fan slightly further away. Okay, I'm doing the answers. Here we go. Round one. Question one. Novak Djokovic has been disqualified. Why? The answer is he hit a lineswoman with a ball. So the answer to question one is he hit a lineswoman with a ball. Turns out it doesn't matter if you do it on purpose or not. If you injure or otherwise abuse an official, you get chucked out. Question two. What was the green pigment in plants? That is chlorophyll. 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 Yep, people are terrible. What are you going to do? Question three. Copenhagen is the capital of which European country? That is Denmark. Yeah, I know the lineswoman got... I mean, she got hit in the throat by a tennis ball. I mean, I don't know how you can claim she was faking it. Anyway, question three. Copenhagen is the capital of Denmark. Question four. Who had the catchphrase Thuffer Thuckatash? That was Sylvester the cat. Question five. Hemophilia is an extreme and irrational fear of, well, it's got to be blood, doesn't it? Hemo. That's hemophobia, I should say. I think I may have said hemophilia. Anyway, hemophobia is a fear of blood. Question six. The TV series set on Wisteria Lane is Desperate Housewives. She definitely set the whole incident up. Yes, she deliberately put her throat miles away from him. Question... so six was Desperate Housewives. Question seven, allergic rhinitis is more commonly known as hay fever. I guess rhinitis is just inflammation of the rhino, which is the nose. Allergic rhinitis, hay fever. Question eight, chanterelles are a common variety of mushroom. Question nine, in the beer industry, what does CUB stand for? That is Carlton and United Breweries. Carlton and United Breweries. What was the answer to 4 and 5? 4, who had the catchphrase Suffer and Succotash? That was Sylvester the cat. And 5, hemophobia is an extreme and irrational fear of blood. All right, what are we up to? Question 9 we had. Question 10, in Norse mythology, the name given to the great hall where heroes feast after they've died in combat is, of course, Valhalla. V-A-L-H-A-L-L-A, Valhalla or Valhalla. Question 11, why shouldn't you make Dr. Bruce Banner angry? Well, you wouldn't like him when he's angry because he turns into the Incredible Hulk. So the answer to question 11 is he'll turn into the Hulk or the Incredible Hulk. Question 12, what was the unusual technique of runner Zola Budd? She always ran barefoot, apparently. No fancy high-tech shoes for her. She always ran barefoot. Question 13, which living species of bird has the widest wingspan? So if you said albatross, you can have half a point. If you said the wandering albatross, which is a specific species of albatross found in Australia, as it happens, then you can have the full point. They commonly reach a wingspan of 3.5 meters. From the Ancient Mariner. Yeah, it's a link back to last week's question. Last week's quiz, I should say. Question 14. Which toy craze of 2017, and also, for whatever reason, I happen to know that the Latin name for wandering albatross is Diomeda exulans, I think. I don't know why that's in my brain. Anyway, question 14. Which toy craze of 2017 was claimed to have arisen from a therapeutic tool for people with ADHD, autism, or anxiety? That is, of course, the fidget spinner. For a while there, my house was about 3 feet deep in fidget spinners because my now 13-year-old was obsessed with them. So answer to question 14 is fidget spinners. Question 15, what is the name of the sequel to the film Ace Ventura Pet Detective? The sequel is Ace Ventura When Nature Calls. So as long as you had When Nature Calls, you can have the point for question 15. Question 16, our mandatory chemistry question. Which element with atomic number 12 burns with an intense white flame? That is, of course, magnesium. Question 17, you probably played with magnesium in high school. You light it and then you've got to wear your fancy goggles or it burns your retinas out. It's all good fun. Question 17, which food item takes its name from the French for twice cooked? That is biscuit. So it's biscuit. So the answer to question 17 is biscuit. Question 18, Caroline dropped the magnesium on the table. That would have been good. Question 18, in which year did Malcolm Turnbull become Prime Minister of Australia? It was on the 15th of September, 2015. So the answer to question 18 is 2015. Question 19, in the world of theatre, what do the letters RADA stand for? R-A-D-A. That is the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. The Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. And question 20, which wine bottle size is equivalent to 4 standard bottles? Was it a Magnum, Methuselah, or a Jeroboam? All biblical names, of course. Well, is Magnum a biblical name? I know he's a Hawaiian mustachioed PI. Anyway, the answer is a Jeroboam, which is also known as a double Magnum. But the answer is C, Jeroboam, because a Magnum is equivalent to 2 standard bottles and a Methuselah is equivalent to 8 standard bottles. So we wanted C, Jeroboam, which is equivalent to 4. That's the end of round 1. Let me know how you went in the comments. Well, I do a little bit of Facebook housekeeping. I'm not sure. I know I know that it's, traditional to whinge when Facebook changes things, but they have changed things and it is kind of annoying trying to find things now. Whoa, scores have gone flying. Andrew's got 17, but there's 3 of them working on that. So yeah, it's still pretty good. Ad's got 10. Simone got 13.5. Pierrot got an even 10, which is pretty good. I don't mean that in a patronizing way. Patronizing being speaking down to, by the way. Lauren got 13.5. Caroline got 10.5. Daff got 16. Elated Matt got 16. Pierre got 13. So I think, yeah, pretty reasonable scores. Carmen 11. John 13.5. So not too difficult a round 1. Not too easy though. It seemed like it was going to be a bit easier than that. Norel and Stephen both 15.5, but different answers correct. Ooh, that's exciting. Okay, let's get cracking with round 2. Once I take a swig of my beer. As mentioned earlier, I'm drinking Mountain Goat Summer Ale. Kat says, what if we got 3 out of 4 for 19? Then you can have 3/4 of a point. You can have half if you want, but I'm willing to say you can have 3/4 of a point. But if you want to haggle down, you can haggle down. That's fine. All right, round 2. Let's get started. Hopefully more difficult. Not because I'm cruel, but because, it's good to separate the wheat from the chaff, make a bit of a challenge, learn a few things as we go along. Does it make you as high as a mountain goat? No, it doesn't, because I think it's like 3%. 4.7%. Yeah, getting up there. I think the last one I drank was like 8% now. 12.25. Oh, because you got a half in another question. Okay, here we go. Round 2, question 1. What 2-word term is used for whiskey made at one particular distillery from a mash of one particular grain? Okay, that hasn't been explained very well. I don't mean any given particular distillery. I mean, if all the contents of one bottle of whiskey are made from the same grain at the same distillery, it's called something. That makes sense? I think so. So question 1, what two-word term is used for whiskey made at one particular distillery from a mash of one particular grain? That's weird, says Matt. I was just looking up that whiskey thing just this afternoon. Spooky, isn't it? Question 2, Carpe Diem was a catch cry in which highly awarded 1989 film? Question 2, Carpe Diem, C-A-R-P-E space D-I-E-M, obviously Latin. Carpe Diem was a catch cry in which highly awarded 1989 film? And for a bonus point, what does that catch cry mean in English? So question 2, Carpe Diem was a catch cry in which highly awarded 1989 film? And for a bonus point, what does it mean in English? Question 3, does this count as a music question? Which Australian band had a hit with the song Accidentally Kelly Street in 1992? Question 3, which Australian band had a hit with the song Accidentally Kelly Street in 1992? Stephen says, thanks, John, for the Whiskey Chat Friday. You've been brushing up and you didn't even know. My dad used to be quite a fan of whiskey, but since his heart went a bit dodgy, he hasn't been allowed to drink it. Random commenting, merging questions together. All right, question 4. In The Lord of the Rings, I don't know, 3 pop culture questions in a row. Question 4, in The Lord of the Rings, which character used to be called Smeagol? So in The Lord of the Rings, there was a character that used to be called Smeagol, S-M-E-A-G-O-L, but is now known by a different name, or is known in the book by a different name, or the film. So question 4, in The Lord of the Rings, which character used to be called Smeagol? Narelle says pass. She's not having it. None of that Lord of the Rings guff for me. Question 5, at the start of a game of chess, which piece is directly between the king and the knight? Question 5, at the start of a game of chess, which piece is directly between the king and the knight? Pass. No, you shall not pass. Multipass. Wrong movie. Question 6. In 1997, boxer Mike Tyson was disqualified and lost his boxing license for biting the ear of which opponent? Yes, The Late Show did do a great rendition of Accidentally Kelly Street. Holy cow, memories come flooding back. I remember watching The Late Show. Those are the days. Like a tiger. Question, what are we up to? Question 6 was, in 1997, boxer Mike Tyson was disqualified and lost his boxing license for biting the ear of which opponent? We used to have a regular evening thing where I would go to a mate's place with a few other mates and we would play the card game 500. I don't know why we picked that, but we did. And we would watch The Late Show. What else would we watch? There was something else that would be on as well. Anyway, fun times. We used to basically all get pretty much hammered drunk, playing cards and watching very funny TV. It was great. Happy times. Anyway, question 7. The largest automobile recall in history has been underway since 2013 due to a serious issue with airbags made by which company? The largest automobile recall, this is question 7. The largest automobile recall in history has been underway since 2013 and is still ongoing due to a serious issue with airbags made by which company? So far, over 60 million vehicles have been affected and at least 16 deaths have been directly attributed to faulty airbags. But what's the name of the company? Chances are if you own a car, you've probably got a letter from the manufacturer saying, please come and get your airbag replaced before it kills you. Question, Red Dwarf was another one we used to watch. Question 8, a type of extremely protective suit is called an NBC suit. In this context, what do the letters NBC stand for? Here we go with the phonetic alphabet again. It's Nike, Bravo, Charlie. What is N? I can never remember. November, Bravo, Charlie. But when it's an NBC suit, an extremely protective suit, what does NBC stand for? November. Yep, got it. Okay. Question 9. St. John's Ambulance uses which type of cross as its logo? Question 9. St. John's Ambulance uses which type of cross as its logo? Hello, Kim, who has just liked the event, liked the link on the Facebook page. So there's actually 2 possible answers for this. Yes, you can stop saying November now. Thank you. So there's the question. There's the answer that I always thought it was, which it is listed as and is fine, but it's based on an earlier cross, as I was told when I did this question at the pub, and someone who worked for St. John's Ambulance corrected me, but that's fine. So there are 2 possible correct answers for this. But the question is, St. John's Ambulance uses which type of cross as its logo? Which type of cross? Yeah, it's got a name, like... I'm struggling to not give away the answer, but, there are types of cross. And this is a type. I can't give you any more info than that. Question 10. In 2006, a mine collapse near which town in Tasmania resulted in 2 miners being trapped but rescued alive 2 weeks later? Question 10. In 2006, a mine collapse near which town in Tasmania resulted in 2 miners being trapped but rescued alive 2 weeks later? And something that feels like it should maybe be a round 3 question, but it isn't. It follows on from that. Question 11. What was the name of the reporter who collapsed and died during a press conference at the mine collapse? So question 10 was, in 2006, a mine collapse near which town in Tasmania resulted in 2 miners being trapped but rescued alive 2 weeks later? So we want the name of the town. And then question 11, what was the name of the reporter who collapsed and died during a press conference at the mine collapse? Quite a well-known, well-respected, well-regarded reporter. It was quite a big deal. Question 12, which I'm having deja vu about. What was the name of the ship commanded by Admiral Lord Nelson at the Battle of Trafalgar? Have we had that question before? No, we have not. Question 12 was, what was the name of the ship commanded by Admiral Lord Nelson at the Battle of Trafalgar? Is that a pun, Elated Matt? I think that recall was blown out of proportion because it's an airbag. Yeah. What are we up to? Question 13. Which city is known as Al-Quds in Arabic? That's A-L space Q-U-D-S. Al-Quds. I don't know how you pronounce it. Al-Quds. Question 13. Which city is known as Al-Quds in Arabic? Or what's our name for that city, I should say. Do keep up 007. The famous Bond wit, or at least half of it. Question 14. The song I Dreamed a Dream, covered by Neil Diamond, Aretha Franklin, and Susan Boyle, among many others, was originally written for which musical? All right, I think we're getting into slightly more difficult territory now with round 2, as we should. So question 14, the song I Dreamed a Dream, covered by Neil Diamond, Aretha Franklin, and Susan Boyle, among many others, was originally written for which musical? Question 15. K2, the second highest mountain in the world, is in which country? Question 15. K2, the second highest mountain in the world, is in which country? It's sort of on the border between two countries. So I will accept, no, I'll accept either of the correct countries for that. So for question 15, K2, the second highest mountain in the world, I'm going to change the question. The World Trivia Council is going to conduct an inquiry, but I'm going to change question 15. K2, the second highest mountain in the world, is on the border of which two countries for 1 point each? It's crazy. Question 15 is now K2, the second highest mountain in the world, is on the border of which two countries for 1 point each? Legend Matt says, I'm watching 2 musicals a week at the moment. My daughter is obsessed by them. That sounds awful. Have you / she seen the film Yesterday, which is about the Beatles? A guy wakes up and everyone in the world except him has forgotten the Beatles. It's kind of musical. I'm not a big fan of that kind of movie, but actually I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was cleverly done. And it kind of makes you realize just how amazing the Beatles were. Yeah, you should definitely see it. I think it's on Netflix or Prime Video, one of those. Yeah, I'm not a huge Beatles fan, but yeah, you sort of see their songs dropped into like a modern context and you go, yeah, turns out they were actually pretty good at writing songs. Question 16, which TV show, which ran from 1989 to 1993, followed Dr. Sam Beckett, traveling through space-time to temporarily take the place of other people and correct historical mistakes? That sounds like a bad plan, but anyway. Question 16, which TV show, which ran from 1989 to 1993, followed Dr. Sam Beckett, traveling through space-time to temporarily take the place of other people and correct historical mistakes? Pierre says, they're overrated. I assume he means the Beatles. Well, I guess you know your own mind. Kat's first major crush, I guess, was Dr. Sam Beckett and not, say, K2. Question 17. The Temple of the Sun and the Room of Three Windows are part of which UNESCO World Heritage Site? Question 17. The Temple of the Sun and the Room of Three Windows are part of which UNESCO World Heritage Site? Question 18. Who was the mother of King James I? Question 18. Who was the mother of King James I? And again, you have to be fairly specific, not just a general answer. Question 19. Hansen's disease, not the boy band of the same name, but Hansen's disease is more commonly known by what name? Question 19. Hansen's disease is more commonly known by what name? Everybody remember Hansen? Mbop. Whatever happened to them? They probably grew up and became lawyers or something. And question 20, for half a point each, please name the 8 reindeer named in the 1823 poem A Visit from St. Nicholas, also known by its opening line, "'Twas the night before Christmas." So question 20, for half a point each, please name the 8 reindeer named in the 1823 poem A Visit from St. Nicholas, also known by its opening line, "'Twas the night before Christmas." Simone's asking racism and ignorance. Don't know what answer that could be, what question that could be an answer to. But anyway, question 20 was, for half a point each, please name the 8 reindeer named in the 1823 poem, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. Yes, the one. The one that names all the reindeers. Reindeer. Oh, Pauline Hanson's disease. Very good. See, that's how little attention I pay to politics. I didn't even think of Pauline Hanson when we had Hanson in a question. Very good. Righto, I'll give you another minute or so to think about those. Lauren would like me to repeat question 13 and 17. Okay, 13 is, which city is known as Al-Quds in Arabic? Or what's our name for the city known as Al-Quds? A-L space Q-U-D-S in Arabic. And 17, please explain. 17 was, the Temple of the Sun and the Room of Three Windows are part of which UNESCO World Heritage Site? That was question 17. And Kat would like to know if there are 9 reindeer. No, the question clearly says, for half a point each, please name the 8 reindeer named in the 1823 poem A Visit from St. Nicholas, also known by its opening line, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I definitely have 8. There are some slightly different spellings for a couple of them, which are allowed, because I think it was probably originally in German, as most of these Christmas myths things tend to be. But nope, I've only got 8 reindeer on that list. You added one. I wonder which one that could have been. Okay. If we're ready, I will go through the answers to round 2, and then we will have our difficult/silly round 3. I'm making reasonable time tonight. I'm not rushing through it because I want to finish off my delicious chicken laksa. Honest. That's just a happy side effect. All right, so let's go to the answers to round 2. Question 1 was, what or which 2-word term is used for whiskey made at one particular distillery from a mash of one particular grain? That's simply single malt. So if you have a bottle of single malt whiskey, it just means that all the whiskey in the bottle has been made from a mash of one particular grain at one particular distillery, and it's not a blend of various other whiskies. Question 2, Carpe Diem was a catch cry in which highly awarded 1989 film? That was, of course, Dead Poets Society. For a bonus point, what does it mean in English? Well, Carpe Diem, of course, means seize the fish. No, it means seize the day. So question 2, the answer is Dead Poets Society, and for a bonus point, it's seize the day. Question 13, which Australian band had a hit with the song Accidentally Kelly Street? No, I'm not going to sing it. In 1992, that was, of course, Frente, exclamation mark, is the name of the band. Frente, F-R-E-N-T-E, exclamation mark. Man, I got the bonus point, but not the film, says elated Matt, who bought a Glenlivet today. I worked overseas quite a bit and used to come back, and every time I came back, I would buy my dad a new random bottle of single malt whiskey and myself a new random bottle of expensive vodka. Fun times. Question 4. In The Lord of the Rings, which character used to be called Smeagol? That character is Gollum. Smeagol, I think he was a sort of a hobbity person called Smeagol, and he got kind of corrupted by the ring. And anyway, haven't really seen it. But I have seen it, but it was too flipping long and my brain turned to mush. And I was sitting too close to the screen, and it was too swoopy. Old man yells at cloud. Question 5, at the start of a game of chess, which piece is between the king and the knight? It is the bishop. Question 5, between the king and the knight, there is the bishop. Question 6, in 1997, boxer Mike Tyson was disqualified because he bit the ear of which opponent? That was Evander Holyfield. Just Holyfield is fine. but if you have the full name, Evander Holyfield, then that's good. Question 7, the largest automobile recall in history is because of dodgy airbags from which company, I should say. That is Takata, Takata. Takata airbags explode, send shrapnel through the cabin, and kill people, which is not what you want in a minor crash. Question 4, the answer to question 4 was Gollum, Gollum, Gollum. All right, what are we down to? Question 7 was Takata, Takata. Question 8, an NBC suit, extremely protective suit. It stands for nuclear, biological, and chemical. NBC, nuclear, biological, and chemical. Question 9, St. John's Ambulance uses which type of cross? Well, the answer that I have, and I'm pretty sure it's the one it says on their page, is the Maltese cross, Maltese, as in associated with the island of Malta, not the small chocolate honeycomb-filled lollies. But I have been informed, and I have Googled, and it is also correct that that cross is also known, or was originally known as the Amalfi cross, Amalfi, Amalfi cross. So if you had the Maltese cross or the Amalfi cross, either's fine. Question 10, in 2006, Andrew got 2 out of 3 for NBC. Well, you can have 2/3 of a point. In 2006, a mine collapsed near which town in Tasmania? They were trapped but rescued 2 weeks later. That was Beaconsfield, used by the Knights Templar. Oh, there you go. Anyway, the answer is Beaconsfield. And question 11, the name of the reporter who died at that during a press conference was Richard Carleton. Carleton, Richard Carleton. Question 12, what is the name of the ship commanded by Lord Nelson at the Battle of Trafalgar? That was HMS Victory. You're pretty confident when you enter a naval battle in a ship called the HMS Victory. Fair enough. Question 13, which city is known as Al-Quds in Arabic? That is Jerusalem. Still in commission. What, the Victory? Wow. I assume it's largely ceremonial. It's not actually leading the fleet into battle. Question 13, which city is known as Al-Quds? That is Jerusalem. Question 14, the song I Dreamed a Dream, etc. It was from which musical? It was Les Miserables, or Les Miserables, or Les Mis. Question 14, Les Mis. Question 15, K2, which is a question I changed on the fly. The second highest mountain in the world is on the border of which 2 countries? It is on the border of China and Pakistan. I always say Pakistan because I had a friend in high school who was from Pakistan, and he informed me that in Urdu, which is the language they speak in Pakistan, there is no P sound. So they don't drink Pepsi, they drink Bebsi. So there you go, Pakistan. Maybe he was trolling me, and 25 years later, I'm a fool. Who knows? What were we up to? Yes, that's right. 1 point each for China and Pakistan. Sorry, I got distracted by more pointless memories. So the answer to 15 is China and Pakistan. You can have 1 point each. Question 16, which TV show? I think this was Cat M's first crush, Dr. Sam Beckett, traveling through time to take the place of other people. That is, of course, Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap. Question 17, the Temple of the Sun and the Room of Three Windows are part of which UNESCO World Heritage Site? That is Machu Picchu. I think I was correct about Quantum Leap being Cat's crush. What are we up to? Yeah, Machu Picchu is the answer to question 17. Question 18, straightforward question. Who is the mother of King James I? It was Mary, Queen of Scots. If you just had Mary, you can have half a point. If you had some other Mary, then you're wrong. It's Mary, Queen of Scots. Question 19. Hansen's disease is more commonly known as leprosy. Simple. Question 19. The answer is leprosy. And question 20. I think there might be some wailing and gnashing of teeth at this one, but we'll see. Question 20 for half a point each. Please name the 8 reindeer named in the 1823 poem A Visit from St. Nicholas, also known by its opening line, "'Twas the night before Christmas." Okay, let me have a drink before I get on this huge list. Okay, they are Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, and then the last two, there's 2 possible names for. So you can have Dunder or Donner, and Blixen or Blitzen. So Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen, or Dunder and Blixen. Okay, notably absent from that list is Rudolph, because he wasn't in that poem. He came along later. All the other reindeers used to laugh and call him names. Well, these are all the other reindeers, all 8 of them. So that's half a point each for the 8 reindeer. So that is a total of 4 points available for question 20. So Pierrot got 4.5 for round 2. Caroline got 7.5. Pretty tough. Matt got 15.5. That's pretty good. Yes, let's not get into the dubious moral questions raised by the story of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. 15.5 for Ads, 13 for Simone, 14 for Daff, 13 for Kat, 13.25 for Andrew, 16.5 for Lauren. Narelle got 17, Stephen 14, trailing in the second round, as it ever is. Hey, I scored a goal in hockey last night. Huzzah! I missed about 10 in a row, but then in the dying seconds of the game, I scored not quite the game equaling goal, and we lost anyway. But it was still a minor victory. Narelle is 3 in front. Pierre got 15 out of a potential 26. But I have noted that Lauren got 16.5. Right. So that brings us to the end of round 2. Thank you, Matt. And we'll get on to round 3. Now, I don't think any of these are particularly silly this week. They're just kind of random, slightly too difficult for the main round type questions. All right, round 3, question 1. In which year was the first episode of Neighbours aired? And I'll remind you that round 3 is it's tricky. If there's only 10 questions, if you get any points, you're doing pretty well. But this one, I'm sure you can have a pretty good guess. Round 3, question 1. In which year was the first episode of Neighbours aired? Question 2. In the game of 2-Up, what name is given to the small piece of wood on which the 2 coins are placed before being tossed? Question 2. In the game of 2-Up, what name is given to the small piece of wood on which the 2 coins are placed before being tossed? Stop touching your face. Question 3. Richard III was killed. Hey, it's the third question, and it's Richard III was killed during which historic battle? Killed during or shortly after which historic battle? Question 4. In which year was Vegemite first brought to market? Very Australian dates in this round. Question 4. In which year was Vegemite first brought to market? HTTPS, do not touch your face.com. What happens when I go there? It wants to use my camera. I remember this. This is a website that watches your webcam and uses machine learning or something to tell you off when you're touching your face. I like it. Do not touch your face.com. Go check it out. I wonder who's powering the machine learning behind it. I wonder. Question, what are we up to? Question 5. MG, Mike Golf. Hey, NATO. Mike Golf, MG, is a car manufacturer founded in the 1920s in the UK. But what does MG stand for? Or what did MG stand for? In case it's like IBM, which doesn't stand for anything anymore. It's just IBM. But anyway, MG is a car manufacturer. What does MG stand for? Question 6. What is a hagiography? It's HAGIOGRAFY. What is a hagiography? Question 7. The Bolsheviks played a major role in Russian politics in the early 20th century. The party takes its name from a Russian word meaning what? So basically, what does the word Bolshevik mean in Russian? So question 7, the Bolsheviks played a major role in Russian politics in the early 20th century. The party takes its name from a Russian word, meaning what? We had a Russian word last week as well. We had Kremlin, but this week it's Bolshevik. What does it mean in English? Question 8. In 2015, a new Muppet named Julia, a new Muppet named Julia appeared on Sesame Street and has been a recurring character ever since. But what is unique about Julia? Question 8. In 2015, a new Muppet named Julia appeared on Sesame Street and has been a recurring character ever since. But what is unique about Julia? Caroline says, whoop, I know one. I studied Russian and I lived in Moscow for 6 months. Nice. That's one of the surprising things about, who are the Mythbusters? Adam Savage and Jamie Heineman. Jamie Heineman has like a PhD in Russian history or languages or something. And anyway, they did an episode where he had to judge vodka and he did it perfectly. It's the kind of thing I would study if I did go to uni, now that I've kind of settled into what I will laughingly refer to as my career. If I did go to uni, I'd study something I just was interested in, not that I had to make any money out of. What are we up to? Question 9. What was the name? Speaking of careers, question 9. What was the name of the prostitute convicted of lewd conduct with Hugh Grant in 1995? She has a real name, obviously. She also has, I'm going to call it a stage name or a professional name. So if you know the widely reported professional name that she went by, you can have a point. And if you happen to know her real name, you can have another point. So question 9, what was the name of the prostitute convicted of lewd conduct with Hugh Grant in 1995? A point for her professional, widely reported name, and another point for her real name. And question 10, what are the 2 main ingredients of succotash? So in round 1, we had the question, suffer and succotash. Well, in round 3, we have the question 10, what are the 2 main ingredients of succotash? What is succotash? I didn't ask. I was so tempted to ask in the first round, but I didn't. So it has 2 main ingredients. What are the 2 main ingredients? Oh, what the heck? We'll have a point each. Why not? Let's go crazy. Cat M wants to know if it's Moscow or Moscow. I haven't really thought about it. I lived in Moscow. Moscow. What did I say before? Oh, God. I don't know. The capital of Russia is Moscow. Moscow. I think it's Moscow. Did I say Moscow? I've been to St. Petersburg. That doesn't help at all. You've derailed my brain with your question. Moscow. 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 I think it's Moscow. Later, Matt says, my dad went to Cambridge and lived in Moscow for 5 years, but he wasn't a Russian spy. Honest. Americans say cow, UK says co. That helps me not at all because I went to an American school for much of my early childhood. And I still say some things very strangely, but that's okay. So that's the end of round 3. I'll give you another, I'm going to say 18 seconds before I start going through the answers. My Russian friend says go in English. Must go. Moscow. Moscow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I say Moscow. All right. Has it been 18 seconds? I think so. Round 3. Let's go through the answers. In which year was the first episode of Neighbours aired? It was 1985. Question 2. Why is my phone buzzing? Not work-related things. Question 2. In the game of 2-Up, what name is given to the small piece of wood on which the 2 coins are placed before being tossed? Who's messaging me? Stop messaging. Oh, okay. It's related to the quiz. The name, round 3, question 2, it is the kip. The KIP, kip, is the name of the small piece of wood on which the 2 coins are placed. Sorry, Peter, I can see you're messaging me somehow, but Facebook has changed the whole page and I can't see where the messages for that page go now. So question 3, Richard III was killed during which historic battle? He was killed during the Battle of Bosworth Field. Messages have appeared from Peter. Peter got 16 in the first round, 16 and a half in the second round, and he said the word Mokba and mikvah. Don't know what that means. Question, maybe that's the traditional local name for Moscow. Anyway, pressing on. Question 3 was Bosworth Field. Question 4, in which year was Vegemite first brought to market? Well, it was developed in 1922, but it wasn't marketed until 1923. So the answer is 1923. Question 5, MG is a car manufacturer. What does MG stand for? It is Morris Garages. Morris Garages. Or garages. Garage. That's another word I can never quite decide on how to pronounce. Lucky it wasn't Moscow garages or I'd be completely stuffed. Question 6, what is a hagiography? A hagiography is a biography of a saint or ecclesiastical leader. So I guess if you had the Pope's biography, that would be a hagiography, or if someone wrote a biography about Joan of Arc, for example, that would do. Nudi Chowdhury says, hello, do you like India? Because I am from India. No strong feelings about India, Nudi. I've never been there. I had the opportunity to go there, but it got cancelled, which was annoying. Hope to go there one day. Seem like friendly people, nice food. Question 7. The Bolsheviks played a major role in Russian politics in the 20th century. The party takes its name from a Russian word meaning what? Simply majority. Apparently the Bolshevik is the majority. Andrew said the study of haggis. Hagiography is the study of haggis, or a book about haggis. Yeah, that would be good, but it isn't, unfortunately. Question 8. Not all of India got cancelled. I was doing a work trip that involved lots of different countries. And the 2 countries I really wanted to go to were Japan and India. And I ended up not being able to go to either of them. But I did go to Hong Kong, South Korea, Indonesia, and Thailand. So it was still pretty awesome. Work paid for it. So even better. Question 8. In 2015, a new Muppet named, and I have been to Japan since, a new Muppet named Julia appeared on Sesame Street and has been a recurring character ever since. What is unique about Julia? She has autism. She experiences autism, and she describes her experiences, and the stories are about her experiences. And yeah, anyway, that's what's unique about the Muppet Julia on Sesame Street. She has autism. Simone wants to know hagiography. Well, it's hagiography. It's H-A-G, so it could be Hagi or Haggy. Don't know. Question 9. What was the name of the prostitute convicted of lewd conduct with Hugh Grant in 1995? So her, I'm going to say, professional name was Divine Brown. So you can have a point for that. But if you happen to know her real name, which was Estella Marie Thompson, you can have another point. Question 9, the answer is Divine Brown, and the other answer is Estella Marie Thompson, 1 point each. Okay, and question 10, for 1 point each, what are the two main ingredients of succotash? It's pretty simple. It is corn and beans, different types of beans, and there's some other stuff in there, but the two main ingredients are corn and beans. I don't know why it's called succotash. Answers on a postcard. It's from the Narragansett language, Songkotash, which means broken corn kernels. There you go. Sweet corn with lima beans or other shell beans. Neither did I until I saw suffer and succotash, and then I had to look it up. Then I realized it was food. Okay, so that's the end of round 3. Simone got 3. Lauren got 2. Pierre got 1. Caroline got 2. Andrew got 4. Ed's got 2. Pierre got 0. Elated Matt got 5. Pierre got 1. Narelle, they both got 4. Narelle and Stephen, but again, totally different answers. And 0 from Kat. Well, don't feel too bad. It's round 3. It's meant to be tricky. Right then, that's the end of round 3. And I think I'm getting another message. Mokba is Moscow, also autocorrect previously. Okay, 3 that round from Peter. Pretty good. Oh no. Nudie is attempting to insult us in what seems to not be his first language, which is having probably more hilarious results than he's intending. Oh, people are giving total scores. It's always very confusing. 29.5 overall from Simone, 36.5 from Elated Matt, 31 from Daff, 34.5 from Andrew. Pretty good. Again, I don't typically keep track of what the potential high score is, the maximum score. 35.5 from Peter. All right, let's go through the answers. No, we've done the answers. Let's go to the who am I? You can use this. You can. That's easy for you to say. You can use this as a tiebreaker if you're in a tiebreaker situation. But if you're not, just have a crack at it. You'll have some fun. Sorry, the comments. Lauren got 32. Andrew got 34.5. I think we've already gone through those. Carmen got 15. John got 24.25. It's pretty good. Pierre got 29 out of 57. Okay, good. All right, so the way the tiebreaker works is I'm going to start reading out clues about a person, a place, a thing, a year, something like that. As I go along, if you think you know the answer, have a crack at it. If you get it right, you win the tiebreaker. But if you get it wrong, you lose the tiebreaker and the other person wins. So you want to be quick, but you need to be correct. So it would make sense if I only had one tiebreaker at the end of the night, wouldn't it? But I'm going to have 2 because I'm just that kind of a crazy guy. So why not? So the first one is relatively maybe easy, and the second one is maybe not so easy. So you can decide amongst yourself how you're going to handle that. But let's get cracking. Who am I? This is the tiebreaker. Who am I? I was born in Lynchburg, Tennessee in around 1849, and I died in the same town in 1911. I was of Welsh, Scots, Irish, and Scottish descent, with my grandparents emigrating in the late 18th century. The year of my birth is uncertain because a fire destroyed the courthouse records, and there are conflicting dates on my headstone and my mother's, who died in childbirth. I was the youngest of 10 children. I never married, and I never had any children, although I took several nephews under my wing and eventually left my fortune to them. It's not clear if my business was started in 1866 or 1875, but it is known that I made my living by distilling whiskey. My distillery is the oldest registered distillery in the United States, and to this day produces the highest selling American whiskey in the world. In 2013 alone, we sold 11 million cases of the flagship Black Label product. I am Jasper Newton Daniel, more commonly known as Jack Daniel, as in Jack Daniels, as in the Tennessee whiskey. There you go. He was a real person, not just a name in a bottle. Not James Beam, not Tennessee Williams, who I think is more famous for his poetry than his whiskey. Alrighty. While Nudie continues to attempt to insult us in the comments, let's press on to the second Who Am I, which really will be the final question of the evening before I dive headfirst into my enormous bowl of chicken laksa. Who am I? I am a country in southwestern Europe. I have a population of only 85,000 people, but I attract over 10 million tourists a year. My population enjoys the third highest life expectancy in the world at 85 years. This info might be slightly out of date, but anyway, bear with me. I am not a member of the European Union, but the euro is the de facto currency. I have been a member of the United Nations since 1993. I am the sixth smallest nation in Europe, and I have the highest capital city in Europe at 1,023 meters above sea level. I am landlocked, located in the Eastern Pyrenees, and I am bordered by Spain and France. My official language is Catalan, although Spanish, Portuguese, and French are commonly spoken. I am a tax haven and considered a principality, as I am a monarchy headed by two princes, the Spanish Roman Catholic Bishop of Urgel and the President of France. Tradition holds that I was created when Charlemagne, or Charles the Great, granted independence to the people of my valleys in return for fighting against the Moors a little over 1,000 years ago. I do not have my own armed forces, although there is a small ceremonial army. In the event of emergencies or natural disasters, an alarm is called and all able-bodied men between 20 and 60 must serve. All households must by law keep a rifle, but the police are also required to distribute firearms if needed. My capital city is Andorra la Vella, and I am, of course, your friend and mine, Andorra. Okay, that's the answer. It's Andorra. It's all turning into a flame war in the comments. A very ineffective, slightly hilarious flame war in the comments. Yes, Peter got Andorra. Very good. I think someone in the comments got it pretty early on as well. Pierre got it pretty early on. Well done. Righto. Hope you all had fun. Thank you, Narelle. I think you did pretty well. You still managed to beat Stephen. That's all that matters. Never heard of it. Well, there you go. I think I heard of it because it's because there's a tax haven. You get a few motorcycle racers who live there when they're saving all their millions of dollars from motorcycle racing. Pierre wants to know if I had to give that question a point score, what would you say it was worth? Well, how many points behind Lauren are you? I think is the more important question. 4 points, maybe. I think I'd give it 3 points. It seems like a 3-point question to me. Hello, Nudie. Please say something about India. Okay, India is a large country in southern Asia. All right, thanks everyone. Glad you had fun. Glad it wasn't too difficult. And I hope to see you all next week. And maybe I'll even remember to put the event in Facebook this time. Wouldn't that be good? But regardless, even if I don't, I'll see you next Tuesday. All right. Night all. Stay safe. Have fun. Bye.